Hello everyone, my name is Wang Kailu. I'm the teaching assistant of this course operating system. This is my email address, so please, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me by writing an email, and I will reply as soon as I see any inquiries. And now let's begin. To start with, this is the very first lesson of programming operating system. So firstly, we're gonna learn how to access to a Unix or Linux system, and then we're gonna learn some basic knowledge about compiling and running a C program, as well as some commonly used commands of C programming. And we also got some laboratory exercise, which is optional, so you could do it in your spare time or in the rest of the in this laboratory. To access to a Linux system. Now we're using a Windows-based computer in the lab, so you still have to connect to a Linux system. And this Linux machine has already provided by the department. It is called Apollo. So you have to connect to the Linux machine Apollo by using SSH secure shell. Yes, and this SSH secure shell has already been stored in in the computer in the lab. But if you cannot find it, you can just simply click this tab, Windows tab, and then you type in PuTTY in the search blank. And then if you type in the PuTTY, it's gonna come out. The window will pop out something like this. So you type in Apollo here in the host name, and this is the IP address you're gonna link to the Apollo Linux machine. And please make sure the port is 22 and the connection type is SSH. And then you click open. So after this, another window will come out like this. So this says login as. So here you type in your student ID. So please know that here the the username and password, it is the account of the Linux system, and this is the same account that you use to log in the PC in front of you, and the same account of department computing and the same account you use for a printing machine. So please know that this is not the one this is not the NAP ID. And after you type in your student ID here, another word shows that that's for your password, the Apollo's password. So you type in the Apollo password, the password of this the password you log into this PC. And please know that when you type in the password, it is not gonna show in the screen. So just type it and then click enter. So then you're gonna log into the Apollo machine. So after you have already successfully logged into Apollo, a line of this one gonna show in the screen. This line shows that you have already successfully logged into the Apollo, and then we can begin, and then we can continue. So uh, here are some basic commonly used commands in Linux. For example, ls, it lists files in the current directory. And it shows that here are this four files are stored in this directory, and there's another uh, file folder here. And then the primary importance of an OS is the ability to issue commands. So we first gonna learn how to create and modify files. So in Linux system, the common text editor is called Pico, and it is similar to Notepad in Windows. So you could just simply use this text editor by type Pico, and the file you want to edit, something like this. So this is a C programming file, and it's very simple. It just has one function, that is print out the hello world, the sentence. Yeah. So at the bottom, you can see a list of common commands you could use. The normal commands used are Ctrl X to edit, to exit the editor, and Ctrl O to save the current file, and Ctrl R to read the file. So you can just you can now try to use it and get familiar with it. Yeah, after you click Ctrl X, you go back to the home page. And then we're gonna learn how to compile a C program. So in C, all programs are named with extension point C. It's like Java programs with extension point Java, and Python programs with extension point py. So you must compile a C program before running it. It is similar to what you have done with Java program. To compile a program called hello.c here, you have to use GCC compiler. Apollo, um, now let's try to, now let's try to compile hello.c. So first we're gonna type cc hello.c, and there's another file called a.out is created. This is the executable program, and we could see it if we typed ls. So this a.out, this is the executable program that can execute a C program. So if we want to run the program called a.out, we just type and then you can see a hello world is coming out. This is the print function in the hello.c. You could create C programs using any editor such as Nano or VI, or creating using a notepad and then copy it to J drive or SCP to transfer the file to the Linux machine for compilation. So please know that Windows terminates a text line by LFCR, but Linux terminates a text line only by LF. So if the program hello.c that you created on a PC does not compile on Linux, try to convert your file by removing the excessive CR at the end of the line. And please note, it is a very common problem when a shell program does not run. You could always convert the commands by using this command, convert the file by using this command. And here are the listed commonly used commands in Linux. You can get used to it, get familiar with it by trying each of them. So please know something like this one, this one. These two are the one you make a new directory and remove a new directory. And this one you change to another directory. You're gonna get familiar with it after you use it some more times. So some of you may wonder why there's a slightly difference between the prompts that you see in Unix and Linux system. So this difference are related to the system setup in Linux, and it is the most important ones being login file and also bashrc file. So you could change the appearance and behavioral commands by you making some proper change in this two file, and you can get help and description about a command from Linux with man. Yes. And then the name, home, and your student ID is the absolute path of your home directory. The file for each user are stored on a different storage space. So to show the current directory, you can type pwd and it will be displayed. So the current directory is also referred to by point. So that is the reason why when we run a point out, you will type this one. It means to run a point out in the current directory. If you want to avoid typing the current directory point when executing a program, you could include the current directory in the search path by typing xword path equals this one. Then you could create subdirectory. For example, computing 2432. And we see that there's another directory has been created. And we could also remove this subdirectory. And you can see that the subdirectory has been removed. So try to organize your file under proper directory. So you could go up one level of directory by typing this cd point. Yes, something like that. And then go and um and then go into some certain subdirectories like this. Yeah, so now we go back. So if you like to work at home and you want to have access to a Linux system, you could access the departmental machines. So if you're using a Windows-based PC, you have to use SSH or PuTTY to connect to them. So here is the procedure. So you could just simply type command prompt like this, and then type in uh, the following line. And I'm gonna ask for your password, the same one you use to log in this machine, and then gonna ask you to select one of the machines. So I chose Apollo here. Your password again. Yeah, now, yes, we have already logged in here. And this is exactly the one I used a minute ago. Yes, the one I used a minute ago. Now we're gonna do a fast recap on C program. Recall that C programs have a similar control structure to Java programs, and that are more complicated than Python programs. So C programs provide the simple flow control like if and else, for loop, while loop, and procedural calls. So there's no class, instance, inheritance, and polymorphism in C programming. All C programs have a main procedure that contains the main program body in the hello program. First one. The first line is to declare the use of standard I/O routines. So we use the output routine print function in this case. You may use wild main or int main. So here it is int main. Wild main or int main for the type of the main procedure. Here wild means there's no value is returned from main as a procedure, and int means that there's an integer return value could be resulted from the execution of a main. So note that wild may not work for some Linux system. In C, functions and procedures take the same format, with only a difference in wild versus a return data type. Now that there's no boolean, normally we use char or byte. We use unsigned char type in C. Um, So please also know that in C for variable input, it is not sufficient to give the name of the variable. Also, you must give an address of the variable. The address of variable data is here. So this is a very common error for a non-C programmer. And here are some points you have to know. Some special formatting strings. One of the key concepts in C language that it is different to Java and Python is the use of pointers. So in C, all variables are just the name to different blocks of storage in memory. An integer is the name to a block of 4 bytes, and a character array of size 10 is a name to a block of 10 bytes. So a pointer refers to the address of a variable. A pointer variable is a variable that stores not an integer or a character, but the address to another variable, which is one of the harder thing for beginner. And in C, string is not a special data type. It is just an array of characters. So here we use hello, a string hello as an example. So the string hello in C is just a character array of length 6. So there's only 5 characters. Why it is length 6? Because there's an extra character not uh, in the end. That is the character that terminates a string in C. So in other words, C strings are not terminated. To see this, we're gonna try the following program. This one. This one. So uh first we assign hello to a string. So first one, the first string it is hello, and it has 6 characters. And then we initialize another string called the second string. And we assign 0 to the last character. And then we compile this one. And then we compile the C program. And then we execute the executable program. So here, the first string is hello, and the second one, the last position of the second string is null. You can see that. And then if you change the last the last position into another mark, a question mark, or save it. Oh yeah, and don't forget to compile it. And then we execute this program. You see that this in the in a second in a second case, in a second example, when we change the last position from 0 to another question mark, this one, we got, so in the system they consider they are not the same. They are not the same character in the same position. So this tells you that you must terminate the string in C by 0 or null. So otherwise the string will only terminate until a 0 is reached. Here's say another example here. So for a declaration like this, can you tell what is the problem for this the first string for above? So because it lacks a character 0 here. And there are some exercise for you. So if you are curious and exploratory, so you can guess what's the following piece of C code with a while loop trying to do. And you could just type it in your machine and find out what's gonna come out. And the use of pointers to express a string is very useful, particularly for command line arguments processing. In C and Java, you can access arguments on a command line via arguments assigned main. And here is the number of arguments and the array of pointers are illustrated below. So array contains n elements where n is the value of argc and each pointer element in argv is a pointer for that particular argument. To consider the following C program to compute the GPA from a list of rates. This is quite a typical technique. You can see how efficient to process the argument list and you don't need to compute it. And this is a exercise for you. And there's another optional laboratory exercise for you. So please modify and correct lab 1C to print out the grade and print out also the grade point for the subject in that order. So yeah, for example, how to produce when running. Yeah, and that's all.